Hello, everybody. Thank you to all of the folks who are watching this live. Just before I introduce my special guest, Andy, today, if you do have a question for Andy, you can put it in the comments below in the Facebook group here, and we will get to those questions at the end of the session. Now, Andy may well answer those questions as we go along, but if there's a question that hasn't been answered, we will certainly get to that at the end. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce everyone to Andy Nef from the Swiss Travel System. If you've listened to any of our podcast episodes, you'll know that Andy is a regular guest. He's just a lover of trains and loves sharing all the wonders of travelling around Switzerland by train. And today he's here to talk about the Swiss Travel Pass. So welcome, Andy. What else can you tell our viewers about yourself?
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to be here this morning. It is early morning in Europe, of course, in Switzerland, 7 o'clock a.m. Well, that's no problem for a Swiss since we are known to be early birds. And it's a great privilege to be here. And Caroline did say it very nicely that I like to share my experiences, but in fact, I'm just very happy to talk. Yes.
Well, I'm sure you've got lots to talk about with the Swiss Travel Pass. So for the people who are watching who don't know what the Swiss Travel Pass is, can you tell us all about it, please?
Well, in short, the Swiss Travel Pass is the all-in-one ticket for the Swiss public transport. It's the key to the world's densest public transport network.
Absolutely. And what, when you say the public transport network, what do you mean by that? Is that only the trains?
No, that's the very special difference between the Swiss Travel Pass and many so-called rail passes. The Swiss Travel Pass is covering all public transport. We are talking about trains, buses, boats, city transportation. And that's how to say here in Switzerland, we have the world's densest public transport network. And all these means of transport are very well synchronized, are very well linked so that you can reach any place in the country.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here for a moment, and I'm going to just show everyone a map of the Swiss Travel Network. There it is there. So I hope everyone can see that. Here's the map showing the whole area of validity of the Swiss Travel Pass. So all those coloured lines there represent different routes by train, bus, mountain railway, even boats, as Andy mentioned. Okay, so back again. I just briefly mentioned there mountain excursions. So what's the go with mountain excursions with the Swiss Travel Pass? Are they free or do we have to pay a supplement?
That's a very important question. And for the ones who have been to Switzerland already, they know that there are countless mountain peaks, and quite a few of them can be reached either by cable car or by mountain railway. And of course, it was quite expensive to build all these lines up the mountains. So that's why they are not part of the public transport network, as we call it. But still, with the Swiss Travel Pass, you get a reduction going up to the mountain peaks. A few of them are free of charge. And most grant up to 50% reduction for the trip up and down.
Okay, so are there any that are actually included for free with the Swiss Travel Pass?
That's correct, yes. There is Mount Rigi, that's a very good example. Mount Rigi is not one of the highest peaks. It's located in central Switzerland, close to Lucerne, on the shores of Lake Lucerne. And there is a beautiful cogwheel train going up there. A very nice day excursion and all free of charge with the Swiss Travel Pass.
Fantastic. What about the premium panoramic trains? Because I know lots of people that go to Switzerland, they're just desperate to ride on the Glacier Express or the Bernina Express or one of the other panoramic trains. Are they covered by the Swiss Travel Pass?
Yes, they are. And well, I think traveling to Switzerland and not including one of these premium panoramic trains is a no-go. Um, I mean, we are featuring 5 of these so-called premium panoramic trains, and they're in all parts of Switzerland. So whenever you come to Switzerland, please make sure to include one of these. All you need, besides the Swiss Travel Pass, of course, is a seat reservation. This does not come free of charge, and please make sure to book these trains as early as possible in advance.
Mm. Yeah, they are very popular, that's for sure. All right. So, what about the different durations of the Swiss Travel Pass? How long can we buy a pass for?
Well, we tried to have a duration for everyone's needs. So that's why the Swiss Travel Pass is available for 3, for 6, 8, or 15 days. And well, to make it a little bit more complicated, we have a consecutive Swiss Travel Pass and we have a so-called Swiss Travel Pass Flex.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I don't have to explain the consecutive pass. The flex pass is valid for a month, and within this period, you can choose the days of traveling.
Okay, so when you say a month, because I know a question that does come up a little often in the Facebook group is what is classified as a month. So, for instance, if I was starting my pass on, let's say, the 15th of May, does that mean it's valid till the 15th of June, or is it 30 days, or what's actually a month?
Very good. Well, you know, we Swiss, we are always very precise on such kind of things. So it's a calendar month. So when you start traveling on 15 April, it would be valid to 14 May.
Right. Okay. Fantastic.
Unlucky that people who travel in February, since they lose a few days, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. And are there different classes of travel that people can buy the Swiss Travel Pass for?
Yes, most trains in Switzerland are featuring a first class and a second class. There is no third class or business class or whatever. Very easy first class and second class, and obviously traveling in first class is traveling in style. You have more space in first class, you have more leg room, you have bigger seats. Normally, it's less crowded. These are the advantages of traveling in first class.
Okay.
Even boats are featuring first class. On many boats, the upper deck is the first class area, though there is no bus featuring first class.
Well, that's something that perhaps the Swiss need to work on.
Maybe. There should
Now,
always be room for improvement, right?
now, I know that some of the regional passes are only valid over the summer months, but what about the Swiss Travel Pass? Because can we use it all year round?
Yes, you can. You can travel on each of 365 days. The trains are running day in, day out, some public holidays. They are not running 24 hours, but very close to 24 hours. And you can actually use the Swiss Travel Pass whenever you like.
Okay. Now that actually brings to mind another question because I know sometimes people are wondering about what about when they want to travel to the airport or so forth on the final day. There's something about the pass being valid till 5 a.m. What's the go with that?
Yeah, the thing is that you have many train connections until who are running well just past midnight. And to be very clear on that, we have introduced this 5 a.m. rule. So should a train be leaving at 1 o'clock a.m. in the morning, and you can still use that train.
Okay, so that's basically on the
Yeah,
last the day after the last day of your pass.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct. Yes.
So if you're traveling on a train which departs your location at 11:30 p.m., for instance, and it doesn't arrive until any time up until 5 a.m. on that next morning, you're fine with your pass.
If you could find a train like that in Switzerland, you'd be fine. Yes. Though it would be very hard to find a train who is running overnight,
Yeah.
since distances in Switzerland are rather short. You can cross the whole country in just about 4 hours. And well, usually the train services are terminating by about 1 a.m. in the morning, and they recommence at about 4, 5 a.m. in the morning, depending on where you travel. In the cities and agglomeration, especially on the weekends, you find 24-hour service.
Okay. A lot of people in travel in Switzerland with their children because it's such a family-friendly destination. So, what about if we are traveling with children and the adults are buying a Swiss travel pass? Do the children have to pay for a pass?
That's one of the highlights of traveling with children in Switzerland. Children up to the age of 16 travel free of charge with their parents. So only the parents need to get a Swiss travel pass, and the children travel free of charge. They get a so-called Swiss family card, which is complimentary.
Okay, and that must be ordered or booked, I guess, at the same time that the adults purchase their Swiss travel pass. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's the easiest way. Though, should they kind of not book it in advance or forget to book it or whatever, they can still get in Switzerland in worst case. No problem at all. We are very
Okay.
flexible on that.
Yeah, very good. Okay, now we're going to talk about a bit about buying the passes in a minute, and certainly I know you've got some great news about a promotion that's coming up very soon. One question that does get asked fairly often is it cheaper if I buy the pass in advance or if I wait till I get to Switzerland? Is there any difference?
Now, theoretically, there is no difference. We are selling our products in Swiss francs all over the world. The same price applies from our side, whether you buy it in Switzerland or abroad. But since we are selling in Swiss francs, there might be a difference in price due to exchange rates.
Mhm.
And so this could happen, to be honest. Personally, I always recommend to get the Swiss travel pass in advance because you have time to decide what kind of product you want. You can make sure you have the right product. You can buy it with the travel agents of which you prefer. And the good thing is, once you arrive to Switzerland, you don't have to queue, you don't have to worry about getting the pass. You can go straight to the next train station and start traveling.
Yeah, great. And of course, anyone watching can buy it through the Holidays to Switzerland web shop as well. I've put the link there on the screen. So, as you said, it's the same price or the same Swiss franc amount, and it's great to have it ready and already purchased before you get to Switzerland. Okay, so this big promotion that's coming up, I'm going to share my screen again because I've got some information here. Sorry, I'll just hop over to it here. Okay, so can you tell us all about the Swiss Travel Pass promotion that is starting this week on 15 April?
Yes, it's actually starting on Saturday. And we are selling the Swiss Travel Pass with extra days for 1 month. So you can get the Swiss Travel Pass 4 days with 1 extra day. You can get the Swiss Travel Pass 8 days with 2 extra days. Sales periods is for 1 month, so until 14 May. However, you can choose validity within the next 6 months for traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And the importance, this promotion only applies for the Swiss Travel Pass 4 days and the Swiss Travel Pass 8 days, so not for the Flex passes.
Okay. Yeah. So buy a 4-day consecutive day pass and you get 1 additional day to travel for free. And if you buy an 8-day consecutive day pass, you get 2 additional days to travel for free.
Absolutely correct. Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so yes, the link is there at the bottom for people to purchase that when the promotion starts on the 15th of April. Does the Swiss Travel Pass ever sell out? Should people be worried that if they don't, buy it well in advance, that they're going to miss out?
No, the Swiss Travel Pass never sells out. There is no contingency or whatever behind it. It's always available. However, there are things which sell out. That's the premium panoramic trains. For example, there is only a limited amount of seats available on each line on each day. As I mentioned before, make sure to book them as early in advance as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, some trains can be a higher occupancy than others. That happens in Switzerland. But here is a tip for you. Try to avoid rush hour and you will be absolutely fine. And as I mentioned in the beginning of our conversation, the Swiss early bird rush hour is pretty early in Switzerland. It starts about 6:30, but it ends already at about 8:30. And if I was a tourist, I wouldn't be traveling before 9 o'clock in the morning. So here we go. That's the solution for traveling in empty trains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the trains are so frequent too that even if
They are.
you
Yes,
one approach and you thought, oh, that looks a bit busy, you don't have long to wait for the next one.
absolutely. And the good thing is that you don't have to book seats on the regular trains in Switzerland. In fact, nobody does. Mm. So you just get on and off whenever you like. Is the train a little bit full? Well, let's have a beer at the local restaurant, take the next one, or have a coffee in the coffee shop, or just do a little bit more sightseeing. Trains are so frequent, every 30 minutes on the main lines, every hour on all the other lines. So that makes traveling in Switzerland by public transport so easy.
Mm, great. So, who would you say that the Swiss Travel Pass is best suited to?
Now, the Swiss Travel Pass is best suited for people who are traveling frequently in Switzerland. Mhm. If you're just staying in one place and you only do local trip, there might be alternatives. Mhm. There is a ticket called the Swiss Half Fare Card, which is, um, well, it's cutting all the ticket prices into half, as the name
Mm,
says already. So this would be more suitable for a person who is staying in one area only doing local trip, maybe a mountaintop excursion. But for the ones who are traveling frequently, the Swiss Travel Pass is the better option. As I mentioned before, you just hop on and hop off with the Swiss Travel Pass, and that makes it so convenient.
mm. One thing we didn't really talk about too much is how well integrated all the different public transport services are, the trains, the buses and boats, etc. Can you tell everyone a little bit more about that for the folks that haven't yet been to Switzerland and experienced how smoothly it all works?
Well, I give you an example. I bought my first car 7 years ago, and I'm not 25, obviously. So I was living without a car for more than 20 years. I was raising 2 kids without a car. You can be absolutely independent of a car in Switzerland and do everything by public transport because you can reach any place. When you have to change from a train to a bus, you can be sure that the bus stop is right in front of the station and the bus would be leaving a few minutes after you arrive by train. So, well, you can get almost anywhere. There is no place in the country farther away than 1 kilometer from a public transport stop in the country. Just to give you a fun fact.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Andy, for all that great information. I'm just going to pop over here and I'm just going to refresh my screen and check that there are no questions come through that you haven't already answered. No, I think you've summed everything up. Everyone, yep, has got all the answers that they need. So that's wonderful. Is there anything else that you would like to let our viewers know before we say goodbye?
Well, come to Switzerland. Enjoy the beauties of our country from the window of a train, bus, and boat. There's so many nice places to visit. Better travel relaxed and comfortable by public transport instead of driving by yourself. Believe me, you have much less stress. And well, with the Swiss Travel Pass, you have the key in your pocket to the world's densest public transport network.
I think you've summed it up there, Andy. Thank you very much for sharing all that with us today.
Great pleasure. Thanks a lot for being here.
Bye for now.
Bye.